In the old kingdom of Umuago, where the earth was red and the nights hummed with the sound of talking drums, King Oduma ruled with wisdom and kindness. He was loved by his people, feared by enemies, and blessed by the gods, or so it seemed. But beneath his royal crown lay a burden. The king had no sons, only 2 daughters, Adanna and Chisom. The villagers whispered that the gods had sealed the womb of Queen Obianuju from bearing a male heir. Still, the king loved his daughters more than gold and palm wine. Adanna, the elder, was calm and gentle like morning dew. Her voice was soft, her heart tender, and her laughter could heal a weary soul. Chisom, the younger, was fierce like a storm. Her eyes burned with defiance, her tongue quick, her spirit untamed. Yet she loved deeply, especially her father, the king. For years, peace reigned. The drums sang only of harvests and weddings. But one night, as lightning tore through the sky, the royal gong sounded 3 times, a sign of mourning. Queen Obianuju was dead. The palace became silent. Even the birds seemed to stop singing. Adanna wept quietly in her mother's chamber, while Chisom screamed into the night until her voice broke. The king was never the same again. He withdrew into silence, spending his nights before his wife's grave, whispering to the wind. Seasons passed. The king's beard grew gray. One market day, a stranger arrived in Umuago, a tall man dressed in fine cloth, his eyes like the desert sun. His name was Prince Sabairu, son of the emir of Dala. He came bearing gifts of gold, camels, and salt. But what caught his eye was not the palace or its treasures. It was Adanna, who stood behind her father, carrying a calabash of palm wine. He bowed before the king and said, "Your daughter shines brighter than the moon over Dala. I seek her hand." The king, bound by tradition, promised to consult the gods. But Chisom, fiery as ever, warned her sister, "Be careful, Adanna. A man's tongue can drip with honey while his heart carries poison." Adanna only smiled. "Not all hearts are dark, Chisom. Some people truly love." The oracle later spoke, "If the king gives away his first fruit, peace shall flee the land." But the king, desperate for an alliance and blinded by pride, ignored the warning. The marriage was set. The day of Adanna's wedding was the grandest in Umuago's history. Drums thundered, maidens danced, and warriors clashed their spears in celebration. Yet the clouds gathered darkly above. As Adanna mounted the royal chariot, her father blessed her. "Go, my daughter, and may your womb bear kings." But Chisom clung to her sister's wrapper, tears running down her face. "Do not go, Ada. I dreamt of you crying in the desert. Please, don't leave me." Adanna smiled faintly. "Dreams are only dreams, my sister. I will return." She never did. Days turned to weeks, weeks into months. No letter came. No messenger. Rumors began to spread that Adanna was treated like a slave in the northern palace, her beauty envied by Zabairu's other wives. Chisom's heart hardened like baked clay. She vowed, before the moon and the spirits, to find her sister or die trying. Without telling her father, Chisom wrapped food in a small cloth, took her mother's necklace, and slipped into the night. The road was long and wild. The path wound through forests where spirits whispered and hyenas laughed in the dark. For 7 nights, she walked barefoot, guided only by the stars and her stubborn heart. On the 8th day, she reached the river Ophia, where the water was said to speak. She knelt and whispered, "Great river, show me the path to my sister." The river replied, its ripples forming words. "To find her, you must give what you love most." Chisom looked into her reflection, tears in her eyes. She removed her mother's coral necklace and threw it into the current. The water brightened, parting like a road of light. She crossed and continued her journey. The heat was cruel. Her lips cracked, her feet bled, but Chisom pressed on. At night she slept under thorn trees. By day, she followed distant tracks of camels. On the 14th day, she reached Dala. There she found her sister, not as a queen, but as a shadow. Adanna's once bright eyes were dim, her hands, once soft, were scarred. She was dressed in rags, fetching water for the emir's wives. When Chisom ran to embrace her, Adanna froze in disbelief. Then she fell into her sister's arms and wept bitterly. They told me our father is dead, Adanna sobbed. They lied, said Chisom. He still waits for you. But before they could flee, guards captured them. Prince Sabiru, now cold and proud, accused Chisom of witchcraft. No one escapes my house, he said. You both belong to me now. That night, chained together, the sisters prayed to their mother's spirit. Mama, if you see us, help us. And the wind answered. A mighty storm swept through Dala that night. Lightning struck the emir's palace, setting it ablaze. Amid the chaos, the sisters broke free and ran into the rain. They crossed the desert once more, this time together, leaning on each other's strength. They shared one calabash of water, one heartbeat, one dream, home. When they reached the river Ophia again, the water rose angrily, blocking their way. Adanna cried, "River, please. We are the daughters of Oduma. Let us pass." The river spoke, "You gave once to find love. Now give again to find freedom." Chisom looked at her sister, weak and trembling, and smiled through tears. "Then take me," she whispered. Before Adanna could stop her, Chisom stepped into the river. The waters swallowed her gently and calmed. Adanna screamed her name until her voice broke. Then the river parted once more, letting her cross alone. Adanna returned to Umuago with nothing but sorrow and a heart full of memories. The king, now old and blind, recognized her by her voice. "Adanna, my daughter, where is Chisom?" She knelt before him, tears flowing. "She gave her life so that I could return." The king tore his robe and wept like a child. For 7 days, the drums were silent in Umuago. On the 8th, the people gathered by the riverbank. There, they built a small shrine and named it Ndi Nwan Muo, the Shrine of Sisterhood.